fucking count.
Hey, y'all. We live? We good?
Are we live?
We are live.
All right, guys. Welcome to Continuous Outrage, episode 39? Or 49?
49.
49.
49.
Episode 37.
39.
Oh, sorry, episode 37. My bad.
No Tim again.
Yeah, no Tim again.
Psych.
I'm
Now,
here. I'm literally here.
I was, it was a setup.
no, he is,
I'm here.
Tim, as we all know, he just had a baby. Tim and Sarah, just last
I
night.
didn't
So,
have one.
no, Tim himself may not have had one.
He made one.
Yeah, he played a part in the production of a human organism. Mm-hmm. That's what he did.
I love that play.
So, hey,
Gross.
I
Tony,
love that play.
Yeah.
in just a little bit, you need to cue up the picture I gave you.
All right.
All right, maybe we'll let people funnel in a little bit. Try to get Facebook up on it.
I can do it. I just don't want my phone to die.
Oh my God!
You get Facebook.
All right, well maybe I just
We
won't
get
have
more,
to.
Yeah, we get more comments on Facebook.
Yeah, that's fair. So sorry about the people who watch on Twitch, but today we're not able to. Tim is calling in through Jake's phone, so we're
Hello.
gonna be limited to the
Hello.
the comments on Facebook today, which I'm pulling up right now.
It's going to be so weird that if Tim wants to interrupt us, he can't, like, hit us under the table like he always does.
Yeah,
Or stab us with a fork. That's what he does to me.
or hit us after the show.
Yeah.
I can do it with my mind.
Okay, so today's episode we kind of wanted to break up into a few different parts, and by we I mean me. I pretty much said that we were going to do this, and
We
no one
all knew. I
no
think
one
this is what
argued.
we wanted to do. Like, I knew this was what we were doing.
Okay, so little bit of spoiler alert just ahead of time. We're going to be talking about Endgame.
This won't be later on
Yeah,
in the
no.
show. So we will give you a heads up when we're about to talk
Yes.
spoilers.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right,
So
so,
we're
don't
gonna-
worry about it right now.
Yep, we're going to break it up. So, yeah, I know, Jason. Default to the bunk system, but for today, just for this time. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Endgame. We're going to be talking about the last episode of Game of Thrones, and then we're going to talk about the big FAQ that hit yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yep, lots of stuff.
Yeah, let's start with that FAQ. That's fire. Let's go.
Yeah. So you're going to basically react to what we say because you didn't read
Basically,
it.
I read a lot of it. I read enough to know that Poxwalkers are still 6 points.
I was
They
actually
usually don't
gonna,
do points changes in
I was
FAQs,
gonna try to
so.
troll you to tell you they went down to 5. I was gonna try.
Like, unless the Castellan's like an exception because I guess it was
It
such a
needed to
problem.
happen.
Yeah,
It did need to happen.
yeah, but
So-
it was Poxwalkers. No one cares about Poxwalkers, good or bad. No one cares
I
about them.
do. I do. I'd like to see him be viable.
Thanks,
Well,
Tim.
yeah, I mean, yeah, right.
I
but,
obviously care.
Yeah,
49
but-
weeks in a row.
Honestly,
but
if
no
you
one
could-
cares enough.
If you could deep strike them, I think they'd be fine.
Yeah, maybe.
If you could deep strike a bunch of them, I think they'd be okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
If they moved maybe 5 inches instead of 4.
Honestly, don't think it would make a big difference.
Honestly, probably wouldn't. I just lost.
Jake's always lobbying for that extra inch.
There's something wrong with me.
Always got to get that extra inch in.
Hey, you got to hold it back before marriage.
Why?
Hey, you get in trouble.
You never heard you got to hold back an inch before marriage?
No, no,
This
why?
is supposed to be a family show. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah,
we're
there's
talking-
literally a family
Because
just
after,
made.
after you get married, you lobby
Don't
for
touch that wire.
final one.
It is hard to hear Tim over you guys.
So turn your thing up.
And I'll hear you guys louder and Tim louder.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Losing.
I'm having a tough time hearing Tim anyway.
I'm getting memes over here sent to me by Jason. I just sent him one back. Okay, so anyway, today's docket, we're going to talk about the big FAQ first. Then we're going to talk about
Game of Thrones.
episode of Game of Thrones, and then we're going to finish off the episode with Endgame.
All right, let's get facky. All right.
Get facky.
I
So
wanna get
what
facky.
are your big takeaways from the FAQ?
I mean, there was a lot. Death Watch just got like that
They,
nail in the coffin.
they
That was so crappy what they did to him. No
Well,
idea
no,
why.
I don't agree. I don't agree. I mean, that it was pretty clear that wasn't meant to apply to the special issue intermission.
Well, I don't think it was clear, but like,
It was for bolters. I mean, people just added that because it made them that much better.
well, they were shooting bolters.
It
wasn't-
made Death Watch a lot stronger.
Yeah, but it's not like they were overpowered. I mean, you never.
Well,
It's not like you ever saw.
They were. I think it was an unintentional change that.
Yeah,
that
it
I
might-
think GW didn't really I don't know. Maybe they didn't think about it.
Unintended death, and they said that in the FAQ.
Yeah. So really, but when you think about how many shots they can pump out, hitting on twos re-rolling, wounding on twos re-rolling.
Death Watch?
Yeah. No, you can have
what's wrong with
you can
that?
have two up wounding rounds, and then you can have your doctrine or whatever it is make you re-roll ones.
But the hitting on twos re-rolling.
Yeah,
ones.
there's a
because I didn't know anything.
or
about
maybe
that.
maybe it was threes,
I
but
think it's
I'm
just
pretty sure there was some way to get +1 to hit.
It might
But
be
in any
like
case,
a
still
Xenos thing. But
threes re-rolling ones, and I mean at the very least threes re-rolling because you have the watch
if you have the watch,
which you do.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it made them too good though, simply because of the points cost.
I mean, and they do really struggle against vehicles.
Yeah.
And especially super heavies. So
Yeah.
like they
But
they
the
have some
ability to
trouble with
add in
knights.
Imperial allies makes up for that.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
can, but you don't want to balance them around the ability to take allies.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was a good idea to take that away from them, just because you're already paying an increased points cost for all that, and then giving every other Space Marine unit that rule, and then not Death Watch Marines that rule, simply because
They get it. They
shots
just don't get it for
well, yeah, but it's strength 4 shots. That would be like taking it away from Rubric Marines simply because their bolt guns are better. Like it just doesn't make sense. to me.
I don't know. I think that's like amplified something that wasn't just a bolter.
I think that
can
they'll
I-
pay attention to it.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
What was the change?
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. Sorry. So the
so
the
funny.
beta bolter rule.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that? Where
familiar.
a bunch of Space Marines
They
and
don't move.
They don't move.
They-
They get
Not
rapid
really,
fire,
no.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they basically took the bolter discipline rule, the beta bolter, and they made it a finalized rule. It's a part of the game.
Right.
However, they specified for Death Watch that they have to either choose between using bolter discipline or their special ammunition, and their special ammunition is basically what makes Death Watch do what they do.
Exactly. So you'll basically never use that bolter discipline simply because your special issue ammo is just so much more useful.
I'm totally okay with that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's doing it. The same way that Custodes didn't get it.
Yeah, but I mean, Custodes have plenty of other strengths.
Yeah, and
and
I
I
mean,
think
and
that's
they're-
kind of the argument to be made
and
about
they're
Death Watch.
also, I mean, they're also not Space Marines either, though. They have
And then the thing to consider about Space or Death Watch to begin with is they still are rapid fire weapons. They can still fire that many shots. They're just going to have to be closer to their target.
Exactly. So it is like bolter discipline isn't it doesn't increase the amount of potential damage that you could do. Really, it just makes it easier to get to your max potential. Is all it does. It doesn't
You know what it
increase
is?
it.
What?
It's an apology from GW, is what it actually is.
Wow.
Oh, what them saying sorry that we made Death Watch so good?
No, sorry that we made bolt gun running so bad. That's why we have the
no,
bolt gun.
you're right. Yeah, that's what it is. That's absolutely what it is.
Oh, the bolter discipline in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But-
I don't agree. The problem, I mean, if you're gonna take normal Marines, you gotta upgrade them. But I don't think the upgrades justify taking them. Honestly. But let's get into some other parts about the FAQ. So what do you got?
I think the biggest change was the Castellan.
I mean, yeah. So
I mean,
we can talk a
everyone
little
saw
bit.
it coming. We've heard the rumors for a long while. So
Yeah.
anyone that doesn't know, they got changed to a permanent four up invuln.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't. Your invuln can't exceed a 4-up.
with rotate ion shields.
Specifically.
That's how it's capped.
Right, and then there was also the 100-point increase.
I did see some points changes. I didn't know if it was 100 points exactly.
Both of those weapons were free before the update. So the cost increase totaled up to 100 because you have to take those weapons.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So instead of
All right.
increasing the points cost on the chassis, and Jason brings up the change on drop pods. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah, that was a big change.
You're talking about the FAQ with the doors?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they say the doors count as being a part of the model.
Yeah, exactly. So you
you're-
always leave them up when you drop it down.
No, you don't, because your opponent cannot move within 1 inch of enemy models, and your doors count as part of your model. So now you have this model that deep strikes, and its wingspan is enormous.
That's
And then-
So
okay.
now you block off these entire walkways of the field because your opponent cannot go through there. They have to destroy this.
That could be useful. A lot of my drop pods are glued, like, opposable.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So like,
there's no
I
there's
mean,
no
I could
reason
play
to glue
that.
your drop pod closed.
yeah, I could play that by ear. Well, unless you're trying to fit into a tight space.
No,
No,
I
hang
mean,
on.
but,
Did
like
they
there's no
change
reason to
that?
glue it closed.
Are you measuring only from the hull now, not the doors?
No, you're measuring from the doors is too. So whether they are up or down, you can choose either way. So
That's dumb.
Also,
I mean, yeah,
Jason,
it's kind
7
of-
drop
it is
pods
kind
is
of
an
dumb.
enormous cost.
not only impossible to take.
Oh no, they're dedicated transports. You can take 7. You can take 14.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with that though. If you're taking 7, presumably you're putting guys inside, right?
Oh well, no,
That-
not necessarily, because
mean,
now you literally
fair.
just drop them down to make your opponent be like,
Fair, but
well, I
let's-
guess I can't go there.
But let's assume you're putting guys inside if you're taking 7,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's 14 units in Deep Strike Reserve. You now, as a Space Marine player, have to dedicate the rest of your points to getting 14 more units.
Well, he's saying
Yeah,
that
but that's not
he
gonna
said,
happen.
He
Yeah,
said,
that's my point, right?
he said
you can't do
Can
that.
they still
seven,
objectives? Can they
seven.
still score objectives?
Completely blocked down a war. So basically,
I think
Like
so.
actually, this table we're on is a 40k table. So if you can have 7 of them, like with their doors open, your opponent literally cannot cross that line
Until they
destroy
deal with
them.
them,
until they destroy one of at least
Yeah.
one of them.
Unless they have fly,
which I don't think
characters
is
with fly.
particularly difficult to do. But the fact that
So
your
Eldar
opponents,
can get crossed them.
oh yeah, but like you take like a demon army and
Don't
like
come at me.
you're like the demons are gonna have to be like, oh no,
like the Plague Bear.
kick the door on the ground.
You're gonna see. I mean, they're not gonna struggle to kill any of that stuff. You see like hordes of Plague Bears just trying to beat down this.
It
I
will
used
be
to describe
annoying.
them. I
No,
used to describe them last
yeah.
edition as just like this objective secured washing machine that just sits down. It just sits there. It doesn't do anything. But
It's
it's
object-
objective secured, so I can just sit there and score objectives.
No,
for
I
you.
mean,
it
you
was
know,
great.
even with this change, I don't really foresee, big drop pod lists.
I don't either.
Like the
I don't
core
either.
drop pod list coming. We might see a couple.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if you take 2 of
Well-
them or 3 of them, you could really like take like a portion of the board and be like, hey, bud, you can't come here.
Yeah.
Sorry. And
It's
then,
also decent for.
Why do you become Canadian when you play that list?
Huh?
Hey yo, bud.
well, you know
Why
what?
do you
Because it
become
seems like a
Canadian,
real
okay.
Canadian thing to do. I
We got
guess.
real cool stuff back here.
Maybe-
He ain't allowed in.
Hey, go for a rip, eh?
We got no cool stuff. You ain't allowed in.
That's a South Park reference.
No, I got it. Sorry. Well, everybody's got a split head now.
You know what changed?
That's crazy.
What do you say?
He said that's crazy. Keep
That's
going.
crazy. You ever tried? Anyway, the other cool change was the cross codices models or whatever units are refined to 3 only.
Yeah. So like
Wait, what was that? Now?
So like
So
demon,
Demon
demon Prince of
Princes.
Oh,
Zinch,
yeah.
Demon Prince of Nurgle, Demon Prince of Death Guard. All
they
only
all count.
3.
Yeah, they only count as they all count as the same Demon Prince data slate, which
Yeah.
Yeah, the
makes
other-
They
sense.
clarified intent, right?
the other big one
Yeah.
was
So I can't take 9 Demon Princes no more.
Well,
the other
yeah.
big one
Well,
for that
like
was
12
Lehman
or whatever
Russ's.
it was.
What'd you say,
Russ's.
Tim?
Lehman Russ's
For
with
Gene
Gene
Stealer
Stealer
cult.
cults.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff is now just considered brood. It's all considered the same model, and they did that for pretty much everything that could be taken.
Well, they basically
across
said
codexes.
Colt and Brood Brothers before something doesn't change the
Yeah,
data
Yeah,
yeah,
slate.
it still makes it the same.
Yeah, you end up with the same
You
result.
can't have 18 Lehman Russes for or
I mean, I don't think.
24 Lehman Russes.
That sucks. Now you absolutely have way more Lehman Russes than you need.
I mean, they have
Yeah,
different
you-
loadouts.
you-
Yeah, but
One
not,
thing
not if he plays narratively, I guess.
I've read a little bit of it, to be fair.
Okay.
The disembarkment from and not charging.
I didn't even know people were doing that.
Honestly,
I just
hadn't
heard about it
much
last week
either.
from Tim.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know people were doing that.
Yeah.
And I saw that in the FAQ. I was like, you know what? That
Because
would
it's
be
a
good-
cheese ball
Now,
move.
do you?
Yeah, well, you're right.
I guess
Absolutely. I
because-
just assumed that you couldn't do it, but
Well, 'cause you don't look
I
at the
guess
game
I've
that
never
way.
looked at
Yeah.
the wording on Overwatch, but are you required to fire Overwatch if you're
I'm
you're
not-
chosen as a target?
I'm not 100% sure. It might. I think it actually says you may, because
I have no idea.
Because
Because, well, I mean, people in the FAQ, they cited people were like they'd get the
They would
transport as
charge-
close as they could, and they would nominate as many targets as possible
and then yeah,
to
and
try
then-
to die. But I mean, if that's my opponent, I would just be like, okay, so I don't fire because I know
yeah.
what you're doing.
I'm pretty sure it says you may. At least when I read the when I read the
Seems like a silly thing to make obligatory.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
It's
When I
also,
read the
but like, why,
Talsep
it's also like,
rule,
why wouldn't
I
you?
think it says you may.
I understand you
In
don't
most
want them to do it,
cases-
but you still probably want to shoot them.
In most
'Cause
cases,
then
yeah,
you
it makes
destroy
sense.
it.
Why wouldn't
then you
you?
overcharge the, or then you what's it called?
What?
Disembark, you mean? Or
No,
like
no, when you shoot at them.
Overwatch?
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
When you then you overwatch the units that come out when they charge. So,
I mean, yeah, but like
So
I
you-
can't.
but now that you can't do it,
But it
so
makes the charge easier.
Yeah, well, they get that
6
that
inches.
little.
It's 6 inches instead of 9 inches.
Yeah, they get
Which
that
is a
little extra
really big
movement
deal.
coming out. But the thing I don't really get is like I've played a lot of games of 40K and 8th edition, and I haven't seen a whole lot of instances like where you're gonna kill like a transport, any sort of transport in Overwatch.
If it's wounded enough, you
yeah,
totally
if it's
could.
sure, if
And
it's
like you
wounded
said,
enough,
you would not.
but,
Like you said, you just nominate everything within 12 inches.
yeah, but that's only so many. Like how many heavy shooting models are going to be within
depends
12
on-
inches?
It's
depends on
apparently
what's in the
happened enough
vicinity.
that they had to.
I get you.
They had.
I get you.
And I totally agree with the change. Like if
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was a
it's fine.
thing,
I don't
like
care.
that's fine.
I
They-
just can't believe it was a
They
problem.
they explained it flavorfully too. They're like, these people just got this. Their transport got destroyed. They're distraught. They're trying to pick each other up. They don't have
Well,
time
yeah,
to
I
think
mean-
about charging.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So another big change was flyers
Damn it. No, I'm messing.
and the airborne rule.
Yeah,
Stop
the
messing with your
aircraft.
Keyword. So that. So it really does make a big difference for flyer lists. However,
How does that work? Because I kind of skimmed over that portion.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
gonna go back.
Kinda
okay,
wonky.
so
It's
yeah,
kinda wonky.
I should explain it anyway. So basically, there were select flyers, essentially like the flyer
Crimson Hunters.
battlefield role, and so mainly Storm Ravens, Crimson Hunters, those kind of things. They
Being
gained a
used to
new
block out the
keyword.
board.
Yeah, they gained a new keyword called aircraft, because players they would move flyers, like people who were taking
yeah,
like
like this
7
one, too.
Eldar flyers in a list. You'd block off these lanes of the battlefield, and then on your turn you'd move it, and you just move another flyer, and then it's an Eldar flyer, so you could just
The Crimson Hunters were the
rotate
big
again.
problem because they had the old Vector Dancer rule.
Yeah. So basically, this added a new rule to where you can now move across an aircraft's base.
You just can't end your
You just
turn.
can't end your move on top of it. But you can also end your move within an inch of it and not be considered in combat with
So
it.
we're back to
can be
last
touching it.
edition. Like that's
Well,
exactly how it
yeah,
works.
and
Well, you could do
that's
that,
and it's a
couldn't
big deal. Like
Yeah, you could.
like you can it really changes a lot. I mean, granted, you can't end your move on the base, so you can still maneuver it in such ways, but it gives you a lot more leeway because that 1 inch makes a big difference. Just not in the case of poxwalkers.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean,
That
it's
FAQ
really
came
cool that
out
you
and
can end
hit
your
me
turn
hard.
in 1 inch. But they changed moving models with the fly keyword too, didn't they?
They did in
Yeah, they-
in the charge phase.
Yeah.
So it works normal. It went back to working in the way where you can still move over opposing models.
Yeah.
Well,
However,
basically,
you
there's
cannot
no
move over
vertical.
terrain. Like
Are you sure?
Yeah, you can't move over terrain in like the same way you can in the movement phase, but you can move over enemy models.
I thought
So
you
was-
said they could.
No.
I thought they basically said vertical distances don't matter.
Well, they might have in terms of charging, but I mean like you can't move through it. So like if
think I
if
remember
there's a
seeing-
solid wall in between you and a flying and a model with fly, it can't fly over it in the charge phase.
In the charge phase.
Yeah, because the entire reason they made the change to begin with is because you would have multi-level terrain. So you'd have the guy on the bottom, and then you'd have your guy with fly up top. And if he was directly over top of the model below him,
It would be a 0-inch charge.
it'd be a 0-inch charge because you ignore the vertical distance.
Yeah.
But now they make it so you have to go to the edge, go down, and go back. So now like you don't just go through that anymore. You don't ignore it.
Okay.
Because they get so no, maybe they didn't get rid of the you don't ignore the vertical with it because that's part of that whole point.
Not in the charge phase, no.
Yeah, not in the charge phase. In the
Okay,
movement phase, you
well.
still do. Just yeah. So no, you
So
don't.
you can fly over enemy models, just not or you can charge over enemy models, just not over.
It
Enemy.
would have been better
Yeah,
if
but
they
you-
would have just said you have to measure diagonally.
And Jason, I think you don't ignore keyword building either. I
No,
believe.
that's included.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's included just in the same way as like models.
Yeah.
Because
So.
the Bastion isn't terrain; it's a model.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fort.
It has the
Yeah.
building too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they included that so that you couldn't just go over those as well.
He said wrong.
It's really weird.
So-
You have to like read it 3 times.
What else happened in the fact? There was a bunch.
Oh
of
no,
stuff.
there's a lot of stuff, man. So
changed.
take
They changed
A
all
lot of little stuff too.
they FAQ'd a lot like a handful of stuff in the basic rulebook. So, for example, one of the things that they touched on, which this wasn't an errata, is more just like a clarification.
Wrong.
As far as rerolls, they count for Overwatch because Overwatch is to be considered as the shooting phase.
Okay, yeah. So they just clarified that. What was? Oh,
So
did
like,
you guys?
Call's reroll officially works for. I mean, even though I'm pretty sure I've always played that it did. Which makes me feel better because it wasn't an errata. Just
Did
an
you
FAQ.
see the deployment FAQ about the deployment maps?
No.
No, I
about
guess
the
it didn't.
corners. So
Is it interchangeable?
no, it's not.
Okay.
So like
They changed that then.
huh?
They changed that because on the live stream they said that it was interchangeable.
Really? In the FAQ, it specifically says that it's not. Like it asks. I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but they ask like, listen, is this supposed to be like whatever corner or is it a fixed position? And they're like, no, it's fixed. Like, oh, okay. So
I'm never gonna play that way.
I won't either. I won't either. It's just not because you'd have to figure that out before you even roll any dice. That's literally the first thing you would have to do. Because
Yeah,
the
you
first
kinda have
steps, the next step's deployment, like figuring out.
You'd have to like on each table declare what is the top left corner.
Exactly right.
Well,
you'd
I
have
mean,
you'd have
really-
to basically take a
it-
book and
well,
say, all right,
Look,
which
it's
way are we
actually
placing
not
this
that
way or this way?
complicated. It's just because on either side of the table, it's the exact
changes.
same. It doesn't.
Well,
though.
it depending on which way the book is facing, it does. So it depends on who's reading the book on either side.
Yeah.
of the
What
table.
if
No, I
I'm
said
on
the same
what
thing
if I'm on
about
this side of the table, Brad's on this side of the table. We got our books. And we're like,
Yeah, then you're looking at opposite corners.
He's
So
like,
it
I
all-
think-
it all
he's like, my
depends on
book
who's
says these
reading
two
the book.
corners.
I think I disagree.
Dumb. It's not a matter of disagreeing. It's a fact. Like if I'm
No,
looking
no,
at
we
the book,
checked it. It's definitely not a fact.
I understand like how it logically makes sense, but like I held the book in my hand and I'm like, if I'm over here, it's like this, but then I walk to the other side, I'm
oh,
like,
so
it's
this
the
corner.
same
It's
way.
these corners regardless.
It's
Like,
all,
Really?
yes,
Theoretically?
No, I understand how it's confusing, but like when you're doing it, because like me, Tim, and Ron all looked at it the same way, and we're like, holy crap. Yeah, no,
I feel
like,
like an idiot.
no, dude, I get it. I did too, but no, like yeah, Jason's even saying it in the comments. Like you just stand on the long edge, and it's exactly the same for
That's funny.
Vanguard and for Search
That's
and Destroy.
funny.
Like yeah,
That's
so
funny.
it really
I guess
does
it
make
doesn't
a big
matter
difference.
then. I guess it doesn't matter then. I'll just have to pay attention to what actual corners are the.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's the top left and the bottom right.
Because
Right?
I mean,
I'm
if you
gonna
think about it, you get
disregard that.
Yeah, and
you
then it's- yeah,
perhaps
you're-
get too
you're-
much of an advantage from just being like, well, we're playing Search and Destroy. I think I'll take this corner.
specific corner. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
So
it
because
makes
then
sense.
the game inherently narrows it down for you. And
Is it
makes
always
you
top
choose.
left and bottom right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I just remember that then.
because top left and bottom right over here is
It's
exactly
exactly.
the same.
I was actually just thinking that. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that is the same. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I feel like a moron.
Yeah, but it's good. I actually didn't catch that in the FAQ, so I'm glad they cleared that up.
That's so
I've been
funny.
playing like that for a little while, ever since Ron and I ever since Ron pointed it out, I was like, huh, okay.
I'm never playing like that. I'm not doing that.
Why not? I just pointed out it gives you an advantage.
I don't want. I want to pick whatever corner I want.
Oh, Jason,
It's
I've been
dumb.
paying attention. I know you're blasting all kinds of HQ or all
He's
kinds of
saying
stuff.
wrong.
What up, Kyle?
What about the realigning of Eldar? I wouldn't call it a nerf because I don't view it as a nerf.
I view a lot of stuff that they did to Eldar as nerfs.
Yeah, they.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
nerfed
it
a lot of
hurts
Eldar
Eldar.
things.
Well,
I think it hurt bull crap.
Well, it hurts. It hurts the whole. It hurts the thing.
Are
as a
you
whole.
referencing
I
the
mean-
psychic powers?
I mean,
Well, the psychic points specifically, but like what else?
Well, no, of course it doesn't hurt Craft World Eldar because they're using the powers
Well,
as intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knights General FAQ. They changed like Death Grip.
Yeah, I saw they changed death.
I mean,
grip
which I
on
don't think
there.
is that huge of a deal, but it was one of those mental onslaught things, which is another thing that they did change. I don't know if you guys caught that in the
Yeah,
Deep Circle
I did. Yeah,
FAQ.
I did see that. I did see that.
Oh yeah. I mean, Yunari wasn't exactly from the FAQ, but they still got kicked right in the nuts. Have you seen their
Yeah,
rule now? Have
they
you
get
seen
to
it?
The what?
Yanari, their strength from death.
Yeah, they no longer get like extra actions from units dying. All it does now is I think if they kill the unit, they get to fight first.
Yeah,
And if they already have an ability that allows them to fight first, I think they get like to reroll hits. Or,
they
like,
get
get
+1 to hit.
+1 to hit. Okay.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah,
See, like
it's like wow, that's
if you
way
build
worse.
if you build an assault based Yanari army,
might
that's
not be
actually
bad.
not bad. Well, I
Might
mean,
not be
because
bad,
even if
but-
you get charged, you fight first.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get it. That's
so
good,
like,
but
yeah,
like
it's a big deal.
it's
I mean,
a big nerf from what it used to be.
You're
though.
right.
That's the problem.
You're
So
absolutely
now-
right,
So
but,
now you
like-
don't want Yanari Dark Reapers. You want Yanari Howling Banshees. But even with that new rule,
I mean, you probably still don't want Howling Banshees.
what other melee unit are you gonna run?
Shining Spears.
Okay,
but
fair.
then again, you want them to charge.
Yeah.
You need Shining Spears
Yeah.
to charge. But in any case, like,
Yeah, because that's where they get their bonus stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's the way to look at it, because you can't just like look at Yanari and be like they got nerfed into the dirt because they did.
Mm-hmm.
But they're changed from the ground up, so they have an entire new toolbox
Yeah.
of stuff that they need to figure out how to utilize.
I didn't read their.
I think they'll be fine.
I didn't read the
I mean,
relics.
I don't personally think they'll be fine. I think they're going to be a lot weaker than just running mono Drukari or mono
Yeah.
or
Sure,
even
but
or
I
even
think they
Soup
still have a
Eldar.
place.
They're going to be weaker than because
but, like,
the crafts
they-
worlds and all that are just better.
But Yanari Shining Spears are still going to be good. You know, like Yanari
yeah.
Harlequin stuff will still be good.
Yeah, Jason, we're going to talk about orcs in a little bit. I got some opinions on that.
What? Oh, I saw what they did to orcs, but I forgot what it was.
Okay, I guess we're segueing into that now.
Well, okay,
Oh.
the mob up one, that makes a lot of sense. Like
Oh, no.
that was clearly being abused.
I mean, it was being abused, but
What did they do?
okay. So the mob up stratagem, are you familiar with that?
Or where you combine squads of
Yeah.
boys.
Well, no, you combine
No,
squads of
it wasn't
orcs.
of boys.
Oh, just orcs.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
well, I mean, of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So you could take two 15-man blobs of Ludas
And
mush
put 'em together for a 30-man
and now
squad.
now they can all get the benefits from stratagems together, and
Mm-hmm.
so
But
it was a big deal.
Unintended.
I don't necessarily think it was
Utility.
unintended. I
No.
think they
No, I
looked
don't
at it
think
and they thought it was really strong, so they changed it. But I don't think it was unintended by
No,
any
I,
means.
yeah, I did.
No, I do because you look at the guard one is specifically for infantry squad. You can't mob up constantly.
Yeah,
Right.
but they've
So-
made
okay,
a clear
but
delineation
they-
between kinds of units.
So
So
they changed mob up, so now it only works on boys. You can't use it on anything. Also, they specifically say that because what people were doing is they were deep striking stuff like
Yeah.
close to things, and they were mobbing them up together.
To get closer.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, say I have
Oh.
5 models.
when do you mob
within-
stuff up? Was it at the end of your movement phase?
It's
or?
it's at the end of the. I believe it's at the end of the movement phase.
Okay,
But
so they could do it in the
yeah.
same turn they
So in any
Okay,
case, say I
okay.
have like a squad of boys like 6 inches from you, and then I deep strike whatever a big mob of 30 of them,
Yeah.
and then I mob them up. So now this big old blob that just deep struck is now only like 6 inches away from you.
Okay.
So now it made their charge easier. So now they took that away,
Yeah.
so you can't do that.
Yeah, well,
so I
I-
think
I
we're
don't see
really
anything wrong with that.
Well, I think
I-
I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to cut back on like
Those
and-
kind of shenanigans?
Yeah, exactly. So you see the same thing when they FAQ the whole blowing up of a transport thing,
Yeah.
right? They're trying to get rid of making
Trying to-
charges a lot easier. You see the same
They're
thing.
trying to
With,
make you play the game.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
want you to tactically play it, not use stupid shenanigans to get
exactly.
advantage.
Well, that's why they fixed a long time ago. It seems they fixed the whole warp timing out of deep strike stuff. So they just don't want you to have these super easy charges just based off these things.
Right.
So they're gonna try to make you take a 9-inch charge, as you know, especially when it comes to like deep strike. and stuff.
the biggest thing that got hurt by it is Ludas. Like Ludas
Yeah,
were
I can see that.
I mean, Ludas are like one of the strongest
they're
units
not bad.
in the orc book. They're very, very
still
powerful.
just fine now.
And for them to be like axed out of
Yeah.
like that,
The
like I mean,
mob ups.
don't get me wrong, they're still really good. And there's still definitely a lot of uses for them when you're not mobbing them up. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I even I listened to like Nick Nadavati one time when he was talking about his games at Adepticon, where he would bring them as 2 different squads, and then like depending on his opponent and their like killing power, he wouldn't mob them up.
No,
because
yeah,
making his opponent split their attacks against him was just more beneficial.
Yeah, well, yeah,
you know,
it makes,
things like that.
No, it makes sense for some, but not all. So,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I get that.
But so like orcs, since they're losing that mob up thing and then their ability to deep strike and mob up together.
Does it
they're
only affect boys now?
It only affects boys.
Okay.
So they lost a lot of their horde power and their tricks with that. So like they're really gonna have to shift away from being a horde type army, like in its core.
I don't.
I don't agree with that.
Well, I mean, sure they're still gonna run a lot, but like at the end of the day, they're still just boys, and they're gonna get blown away.
Well, you can't really just say just boys. I mean, they got 4 attacks each, don't they?
Oh yeah, but like the issue's still gonna be like them making it there. Eli, you made it.
Yeah, just perfect time. We're about
So
to
I bet I
segue
know what
into
Jason's
your
about to say
favorite
because he's
things.
talking about big winners from the FAQ. Yep, Tau. I was gonna talk to you about that because I wanted to get your opinion.
I didn't. What was it? I didn't see it.
Well, Tau didn't gain a lot, but their opponents lost a ton, and that's
Out of
what.
the FAQ?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what made them. That's what makes them so much better. That's why they
Well, not just
moved up the
FAQ
rankings so much.
globally, right? With Yanari too, Yanari getting reduced
Yeah.
from the most effective
You-
army by none.
We'll see. We'll see some more what happens just because Craft. I mean, it's not necessarily Yanari that's the problem for Tau. It's just Craft World Eldar in general. So Craft World.
If that's the case, that's not going to change.
Exactly. So Craft World, like Craft Worlds didn't get hurt at all during the FAQ, to my knowledge.
Individually,
Like just the codex itself, just
like mono,
yeah.
no.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
So just Craft Worlds alone, they're
Jason,
still going to
unless you
continue
can
to be
think
a
of
powerhouse
anything
in a
that
struggle.
I missed, but I don't think Craft Worlds individually.
And
got
I
hit.
don't think Dark Eldar have ever really been that much of an issue for Tau as well. They're good, but the things they strive at, the Tau are a pretty good counter for. So yeah, but I think Eldar, Craft Worlds
Brad,
will be a big thing.
we missed that.
What's that?
The Master of War.
Yeah.
Jason pointed out because I didn't realize that the user doesn't have, or the user can move. The things that benefited from it can't move.
That'll be a lot more useful.
Yeah.
What is this?
Okay. So, Master of War is an ability that Tau have.
Yeah.
Basically,
it's the rerolls. It's the rerolls I was using for Shadow Sun, and one of the stipulations for that was in order to use it, I wasn't allowed to move. But now,
now the Riptide can move.
now the person who activates
the-
it can move. It's just the units that are going to benefit from it aren't allowed to move.
And yeah, Jason, I mentioned that
Which is a little
about their
bit
powers,
nicer.
but I meant like if you're playing mono Craft Worlds in of themselves, I don't think they got hit.
No.
It's like a double miss for Yanari, right? Because Yanari was really using those super powerful
Yeah.
Elder powers.
Yeah.
Which is why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yanari really got the short end of the stick there, but
they got
like
dumped on.
yeah, they're gonna have to figure out a way to make something happen with them.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably just
I think you
become
just
like
got to focus more right now.
I think they'll just make them into another kind of like a meh subfaction of an army. That's all.
I'm just
that's
waiting
all
for
it
segment
is.
2.
Segment 2. Well, you know,
I
we've
told
been-
you everything I
honestly,
read.
We've been
Let's
we've
keep
been on
facking. I want to keep facking.
I know.
He doesn't
We've-
wanna
we've-
get- he
we've
doesn't
got-
wanna go to segment
honestly,
2.
We've been on this segment for a while, and honestly,
I like this segment. It's a good segment.
We can keep talking about it.
If we had a 2-hour
Well,
podcast,
this is going to remain relevant for weeks to come.
It
so I mean, we
will.
can
So
still
yeah,
talk about it.
let's move on because we gotta get
I would
talking
argue that
about
it's
Game
gonna
of Thrones.
It's going to become more
So
relevant.
now it can be your turn to
as
sit still
things
for
get
30
made.
minutes.
I feel
Well, we only got 30 minutes left.
I feel
let's
so
not-
bad for this episode or for Tim because he was loving the season
Yeah.
until this episode.
Wait, I thought he was.
Okay, so
hating it.
moving into
No, he
Game,
hated
moving
last
to Game of
season.
Thrones,
He was
so spoiler
loving.
alert.
He
Just
was loving.
FYI.
There's probably going to be spoilers, so I'll try to leave.
Oh, no, I'm honestly like
got
we've
caught.
given
That's
the
what happened. I
spoiler
got
alert
caught.
warning, so like I'd like to get into it as much as possible.
Here's a spoiler.
I don't know if anyone in the store has watched
Bran
it. So
turned into birds.
they said that they don't care and that they're not going to listen to us anyway.
okay.
All right, I asked. I did.
Spoiler alert. Game of Thrones season 8 episode 3.
It's trash. Did you see the meme that I made the other day, by the way?
Trash.
Yeah, it was spoilers
Dude,
with no
that was hilarious.
context with
Oh, okay.
four pictures
Tony,
of trash.
Tony, I gotta send you this, Tony.
Okay.
You got
add
to
in.
Tony. It's so funny. It's
was-
probably my best meme I've ever
Oh,
made.
I think I saw
it
that.
might be the best meme you've ever made.
It was really good. Yeah. So
And I thought they said they stopped watching.
Okay.
One of them's even on fire.
Okay, so my
There's
first
even fire.
what?
Jason, I'll share that meme when we get to the that segment.
What is that?
We're gonna share that later.
Oh yeah.
So-
I've seen kind of
Yeah,
something similar.
So
to that,
my
which
first
is fun.
impression of the episode, I really liked it at first. Like the experience watching it, I enjoyed because it was gritty, it was long, it seemed heavy. There was a lot of chaos. The scene, like it was dark, but like what you could see was like dope.
You know that's kind of part of the complaint that
Well,
a lot of
the-
people
the-
on the internet.
Yeah,
have
the
been having.
darkness in some scenes were like just too dark. But
Yeah.
when you got to the castle and stuff, and a lot of the scenes there were a lot of dope scenes. But then, as I remembered the episode, like I defended the episode the night of, I was like, this episode was pretty good. But then like, I felt I just came
Then
off
you
of
woke up.
I just came off of Endgame where like I was still feeling from it. Like
Yeah.
my I was
was
still
that good?
It was so good that I
I
could
gotta go
still
defend other stuff.
I could still feel the impact of that movie. And then when I woke up Monday morning, I was like, well, I don't really feel anything about last night's episode. Like, there's
I
no,
just wanna
I have
point out
no
that,
feelings.
that night, I commented on a Facebook post. I was like, I don't feel like enough big characters died to make this like an emotional and like impactful episode. And he literally called me a psychopath.
I did. I was like, geez, you psychopath. The characters don't have to die for it to be a good episode.
No,
Well,
I'm not saying that characters dying would have made it a good episode. I'm saying that them dying would have made it emotional and meaningful.
And
Because
also,
right now,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, my understanding also was that like I didn't see it, but like a lot of characters who probably should have died or like survived things that they probably shouldn't have
Yeah.
This is
survived.
gonna be a crazy spoiler. This is not gonna be a crazy
I've
spoiler,
heard
but
a lot of those. Same
near the end of the
complaints.
near the end of the
Yeah,
episode, Jon Snow is walking through the castle, and literally all the army, every army is
gone.
gone.
There's-
All there are is White Walkers and notable characters fighting those White Walkers.
literally, they don't show a single nameless person.
Not a single extra.
No.
Nope. All it is-
They ran out of funding.
He just they
Like
you just
minutes before, you literally see hundreds, if not thousands, of these undead sprinting through the gate that had been smashed down.
like it's
Like,
it's some of them are just like so beyond the suspension of belief. Like Sam is laying down, just like crying,
Not getting stabbed.
crying.
Not
as-
getting stabbed.
Yeah, as he's like shanking stuff. There was
No,
a
getting
part
stabbed.
where like out in the field during like the initial charge, Brienne fell to the ground and 6 of them are like savage her and they're like stabbing her, and then she gets up and it's like keeps fighting until the very end.
Yeah.
She ends up living.
Yeah,
And they're just like going
This was really
crazy
bad.
on
This
her.
was really bad.
Like, and I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? It makes perfect sense if she goes here, and Jamie is right there watching it happen. It would have been traumatizing for him. It would have developed his character more, and they let her live, and it upsets me. Like I actually like
Well,
Brienne. I don't want her to die, but
the-
that would have been a meaningful spot to have her go.
Not only is like all of that bad, but the worst part of it is the first 2 episodes were so good at building this up, building
Yes,
this episode
yes.
up, that and with especially with character
They've been
arcs.
building this up for seasons.
I understand,
8
but
seasons.
for this, but with the trash we had
Like-
last season, if they just threw this in episode 1, like you're like, all right, this is on par with what's going on with Game of Thrones now. But the
There's
last,
literally 5 seasons. They've been talking about this epic battle, and we get cut.
Yeah, it was.
We
It
were
was bad.
collectively cut.
I have a really cool, I have a really
that
cool
makes
theory
I don't think it does.
about
There-
the
I'll
long
guarantee
night.
it won't be cool. I
gotta say, no
okay,
matter how
no,
cool your
no.
theory is, it's not going to make the battle go any
No,
better.
I agree, but I
It's
have
not going to be Arya flying through the air past undead zombies that can stand up to dragon fire and then killing the guy.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Stupid.
But I have
Okay.
a cool theory.
Give us the theory.
Okay, so this was supposedly the end of the long night, right?
Yeah.
And Azor Ahai is supposed to reveal himself and defend humanity against the long night.
They cucked us with that when Danny tried to breathe fire on him. They're like, "Just kidding, y'all. He can't die to fire." Anyway, go ahead.
Well, exactly. I don't think this was the
Fucking
long night. I don't think Azor Ahai has revealed himself. I think this entire story of Game of Thrones is
Is the
about
long night?
no, it's about Azor Ahai being born.
Okay.
So
Or are you trying? Are you alluding to the idea that Jon Snow and Dany
Jon Snow and Danny's
offspring?
love
gonna
child
birth
is
Azor
going
Ahai?
to birth Azor Ahai, and then because something that they never really went back
Did we get
to.
a sequel show where it's all cuck all the time?
Maybe.
All
But remember back in season.
24/7.
You remember back in season 4 when the night
Game of
when
Cuck.
the Caster's Keep
Cuck.
he put a baby out
Yeah.
and then
they changed it into a White Walker.
and they changed it into a White Walker. But that
was
wasn't
an emotional.
that wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's season 4 was a long time ago, but like in that span of years, it was only a few years
Yeah.
from like Bran
Assumably
didn't
that child
age.
wouldn't have
Bran
grown
Bran
yet.
was Bran was there when that happened, or close to it when that happened, and he was he's only aged like 5 years or something like that, or 8 years. So like
What about Gilly's baby?
It's not a baby. It's a freaking toddler. That kid's in first grade.
right, regardless, but that
They get to be 15.
unless White Walker
Well-
babies grow to adulthood really fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Where's that baby?
Where's that baby?
then
So
again, I
that
guess
baby
then I
might be
guess
the
that-
one
Well, then
that
again,
brings
the
the
long
baby
night.
must be
Hear me
gone
out.
now because the Night King is gone.
Hear me out.
I
White
guess you're
Walkers,
right.
Everything that stemmed from him is gone.
I guess you're right. I guess he's the one that.
White Walkers are obviously meant to do nothing except for let their king and their Wi-Fi connection be killed.
I wish
in a-
they had
in a
shown White Walkers in
practical manner.
combat.
That was a really bad way to end the White Walkers.
It was. It was a very bad way. I mean, just like
It was-
I would have been happier if Jon Snow had like just dueled the Night King outside the keep. Like
Now, what
sure,
if-
it wouldn't have been great, but it would have been better than that.
Yeah, it was a
What about
ripoff
this?
of Lord of the Rings and then also Star Wars Episode 1.
Like the Witch
Yeah.
King when I'm a woman. Is that what you're talking about?
No, everybody
Kinda.
dying because the leader died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought.
No, what
They-
about
like,
this?
like Tim is so elegantly put, they disconnected the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You killed
No,
you killed
no,
the
no,
guy
yeah.
at the top
No, I
and
get-
everything.
That's
gone.
I get
that's what
that.
happened in Star Wars Episode 1.
No, yeah, when
Yeah.
they blew up the when they.
Sorry
I don't
about the
remember what it's
spoiler.
called.
Yeah.
Oh, for episode 1.
Yeah.
Tim, what were you
Sorry,
saying?
man. 14 years in the
20-year-old
making.
movie
All right.
or whatever.
More than that.
What were you saying,
20?
Tim?
In 99, yeah.
That came out in '99.
I thought so,
Wow,
yeah.
it's an old
that's
movie.
actually 20 years.
Yeah.
That's an
That
old
sad
movie.
realization when you
Um,
realize you turned 28 this year.
Relatable,
man.
dude.
No, what
Relatable.
were we talking
Yeah.
about before?
We were talking about Arya's flying squirrel maneuvers.
Yeah.
I can't
See,
remember. now.
I would have been
lost it.
happier had she wounded him and forced him to retreat. I would have been cool with that.
I
And,
thought,
and then like
I
their
thought,
armies regroup.
So I thought, like in my mind, I was going to be happy if this happened. I thought they were going to lose the Battle of Winterfell, and they would have had to have retreated.
They
Yeah.
could have.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, with as much death as they took, they lost.
They
Like-
lost. I mean,
Like,
the war, they
but
lost.
now I mean, if you watch the previews,
I did not like the I watched the previews, and it was like, hey,
I'm like, are you- she-
well,
she's
this
like,
all
"We'll
just
rip her out,
happened,
root
but
in stem. It's like with what army?
yeah, right. It's like
No,
this
no,
all just
okay.
happened, but next thing,
Now, what about Barrett Dondarrion, right? So that whole storyline, he literally comes back to life 19 times so that he can get stabbed in the back so Arya can escape.
Okay, I
All-
actually
listen,
don't have a
all-
problem with that.
All R'hllor had to do was use the Hound. He didn't have to bring anybody back to life any number of times. That was stupid. That was a cop-out.
I think I disagree with that because like he was brought back for a purpose.
yeah,
And,
like
you
if
know,
the
and-
purpose
and-
is for Arya to
Who
do
blames
it,
him?
No, I mean I'm not defending that Arya should have been the one to kill the Night King like she did, that because it was dumb.
What
I'm
they
not-
did
I'm-
with Barrett,
I'm not upset that Arya
ran
did
out
it.
of ideas.
I'm not upset that Arya
I'm
did
not
it.
upset
I'm
it was
upset
Arya
with,
that
like,
did it at
the
all.
circumstances of how it
I'm
happened.
upset with the method. I would have been better off. I would have been happier with her throwing the spear of Gendry made her.
that would have been
Like, from
that would have
above,
been
like,
Yeah.
that would have been a
under the
lot better from like above. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, like as he walked up to Bran, like she jumps out of the tree with the spear. That would have been way cooler. But instead, she used her Brienne move
yeah.
and killed literally the most evil creature that's ever existed. And talk about the one-dimensional character that they created with the Night King.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad that he
They
didn't
made an
speak.
Olympic javelin thrower and that was his only depth, was that he could throw a javelin like an Olympian.
I kind of like that it was Arya because it gives her story a lot more purpose throughout these last few seasons.
I can agree with you.
Listen, I used to call the Jon Snow show. It literally, Jon did nothing in that episode. He sat on the wall for 40 minutes doing nothing.
With his dragon,
He didn't do
the
anything.
dragon fight was cool.
I mean,
I like the dragon
about-
yeah,
how
fight.
about when
kind
they
of,
made
but
the
most of it
dragons
again was
collide in
just I
midair?
can't see anything.
Yeah. What, Tim?
They made the dragons collide in midair, and then there was no negative repercussions.
Yeah.
You realize how big the sky is, and two dragons flew into each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they showed someone crash into the trees, right? Showed John crashing into the trees.
Yeah,
They showed the
but,
dragon flying
why
into
was
the
the
tree.
dragon
Why?
just flying into him? It could have just like gone up. Pull up.
It was a storm was affecting him.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And then that storm went away. Okay, so when the White Walkers come, it's literally supposed to get black, and it's supposed to get super, super cold. Well, you wear hoops to breathe, and they just didn't do that. Every White Walker in existence was at Winterfell, and the weather was still pretty mild.
Yeah. Well, it
I mean,
showed the
like,
storm come,
yeah,
but
the storm
yeah.
game, like I don't think it was that
But
big
then
of a
it
deal.
did go away. I do.
They went away.
It did
They
go
just
away.
stopped doing it.
Yeah. Like once.
Also, okay,
It's,
so like, I want.
I think it's clear that these guys can't write. They can't write.
I'm
know
not.
what?
I'm not
Since-
hating this conversation, but we do only have 15 minutes left. Let's switch.
Unbelievable.
We should switch gears
One-
in Endgame.
You're,
We
you're
fact-
right, but one
we
sec, real
fact
quick,
for
because
40
I want to get
minutes.
your opinion on this. Okay. Okay, so you have you have a fortress, and you maybe have 60,000 troops.
I've seen all the
at your
posts
disposal. Okay,
about
you maybe have
I've seen all
60,000, and you need to defend this castle
these. Yeah.
against 100 plus thousand dead. Okay,
Undead.
and a dragon, and an undead dragon. Okay, so you need to defend it. So here's their defense: they take the entirety of their army, and here's the castle. It's out here. It's outside of the walls.
So the kind
Not
of
only that, your cavalry is in front.
No, I'm getting
Yeah.
there because they took
Cavalry's
the
in front.
cavalry.
That's
Wait,
the last thing you want to do.
Backed up by your
they took their
trebuchets.
cavalry.
You got to flank.
yeah.
Always flank.
So they have basically like a moat around the castle, but it's filled with like spikes and like they can set it on fire whenever they want.
Not
And
even
behind the
alligators?
army.
So no,
What
they
the
have
heck?
like a
Behind the army,
line.
too.
They have like a line of army like behind this, but then they're like the bulk of their army is in ranks in front of the moat, and then in front of the ranks of their army are their trebuchets.
Yeah.
Their artillery.
The absolute
Listen,
last
That's
place.
literally
for
like
trebuchets.
the
then-
reverse of
and
what
then
you
in
want.
front of their trebuchets are all of their cavalry. And so
Listen, I have the answer for you, okay?
before
listen,
you ever see a dead guy,
But
they tell all of their cavalry to just charge into the night.
They couldn't afford to animate ghosts for more than 5 minutes, okay? Which means they also
Ghost is a
couldn't
dog.
afford a military advisor. So they just went with whatever they thought looked cool because these guys didn't even play StarCraft. They just like read they read a Diary of a Wimpy Kid and thought that they could write.
yeah, it wasn't great.
It made
The battle strategy wasn't
Yeah.
It made
too
no
great.
sense.
No,
And honestly,
Jake, it
that
was
ruined my
horrendous.
immersion into the episode. It was terrible.
So,
you
also-
took you
No,
took
that's
20,000
really dumb.
cavalry, and you tell them
What
to
about
go run.
Melisandre like becoming Gandalf the Grey overnight, and
That's-
then like
this is
she
dumb.
just Thanos herself at the end for no reason?
Yeah,
I called that, by the way. I was like, she's gonna walk out and turn to dust, and she walked out and turned to dust.
kind of.
I could write for this though
Why didn't Bran just warg into Ghost?
because he wanted to warg into some birds and fly.
and do nothing. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, I thought like
Oh, okay,
At,
so
at the I
we can
already talked to him
start
about it. At the very least, I'm a really big fan of Bran and the White Walker and the
I
whole.
like Bran. Yeah.
And I like the whole mystery and mythos behind the Three-Eyed Raven and the White Walkers. So I thought at least we were going to get some information and closure on
None
that.
of it.
We got none of that.
Nothing.
None of it meant anything. It was literally all a plot device to get us through 5+ seasons of smoke.
Yeah. Now, so it's my understanding that they put all of the like women and children in the crypt.
Yep.
Is that correct?
In the crypt.
Were they aware before they did that
Dead people live there?
the dead people they're fighting could raise dead people?
Yeah.
They were
They
aware, they were
literally
aware
lived
of
the
that.
whole
I mean, I guess not they should have been to the degree that it happened because they've witnessed it before.
Listen,
So like
the
partway through the
boner
battle.
event of
Go ahead.
the boner event of the show, Hard Home, was all about that. It was
Yeah.
all about him just saying, "Come at me, bro."
It was
And
all
the
about
clips
revealing
are
it.
filled with. Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, the crypts are filled with dead guys, and then so halfway through the battle, the Night King's just like, all right, everyone that's died, get back up and help. So like everyone in the crypts, where all the women and children and old people are, all the like hundreds of years of dead people are like, hey, we're awake now, and then just go murk them.
To be fair, they weren't much safer
Think-
above.
Yeah.
They
But-
were.
Yeah.
Nah, not that much after the castle got
I mean,
swarmed.
But
maybe
yeah.
not so, but like maybe you should just keep like a couple weapons down
That's
there.
dumb.
If you know that, though, you really have to play a really defensive game because if they can raise your enemies, you got to make sure you don't die.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
didn't they
but-
move
so
all the
instead, we're going to
non?
take the entirety of our cavalry army and be like, hey, bro, you want 20,000 reinforcements? Here you go.
Right.
And then just die.
All
It's
right.
terrible.
So
But
let's
we
get
should,
into
yeah,
Endgame
we
because
do
we only
need to
got
move into
10
Endgame.
minutes left, and I do
I'm
want to
sure,
talk
I'm
about
sure
it.
we'll go a little over,
So,
but that's fine.
so spoilers. We're gonna be doing.
Yeah,
some
we're going to be
spoilers.
talking about spoilers.
So
if you haven't
if
seen
you
it,
don't want to see, we will see you next week. Have fun. But,
Go watch Endgame.
Yeah, and definitely go watch Endgame because we might talk about it next week too. So, but yeah, so Endgame. Opinion. Go, Jake.
I thought
rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
There you go.
8.
An 8.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'll rate it in two different scenarios. The first half is 7, and then the last half 9 to 10. I understand there's some plot holes and there's time travel in the movie, and that can kind of get messy.
Yeah, time travel is
but
always
I swear,
super tricky.
The way
The-
they
I have-
It's hard to
explain
write it
time
well with
travel,
that.
I
Yeah.
have no problem with.
the way they explain the time travel in this movie compared to other movies, like they even make jokes about it in the movie about this isn't Back to the Future. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, screw those guys. They have nothing on the flux capacitor. But anyway,
I feel like a lot of movies with time travel say this isn't Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Well, it's the movie, right? It's the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
travel movie.
well, yeah.
But
Time travel is just bad. It's hard to get behind it.
It's a cop out.
It's a plot
It's,
device.
you know what?
it's not a cop out.
the ultimate all
You
in
can
the
tell
hole.
it's not a cop out because you can tell a story, especially when one of the 6 stones that are involved in the meta plot
I
is
get
a
it.
time gem.
Hey, they did it. It's a time stone, not a gem. You cuck.
Unbelievable.
He's got a point.
It's a rock.
They,
Not a s-
gem.
minerals, Marie.
I gotta rate
They,
it. I gotta.
they used the time mineral.
I gotta rate it. I gotta up my rating to a 9 because the last half of the movie made me feel emotions I haven't felt during a movie in a very long time. And
That's fair. That's fair.
I understand that this is the culmination of 21 other movies, and I've started watching it since the first one. I watched Iron Man in the theaters.
Yeah.
So I like the conclusion of the Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, and what seems to be their final movie together, at least, was a very impactful movie for me. So
There were some heavy moments, man. I totally agree. Like the feel you got when Cap picked up that hammer, like that did things to me.
That was pretty cool.
It
was
was
awesome.
that
That
was
was awesome.
completely on the badass Spectre.
Yeah. Spectre? You mean Spectrum?
Spectrum, whatever.
Okay.
So I'm going to just
The
admit,
one
like,
was an 8.5. 8.5.
Yeah. So I've got my own issues. I was talking to Jake about it earlier, and I did notice quite a few, a couple of plot holes in the movie.
Or it's more like
What
plot
about the estrogen
inconsistencies.
brigade?
What?
The estrogen brigade. How did you feel about
yeah,
that?
I didn't-
oh god.
That was
That didn't bother
Once-
me.
once again, it's just
ruined
pandering.
That scene for me.
Yeah, it's just pandering. I talked to Jake about this as well. I just don't like Captain America. I love Captain America. I don't like Captain
You watched your
Marvel.
mouth.
Yeah, no.
No, Captain America is one of my favorite characters.
Honestly, I don't like Brie Larson.
I don't like Brie Larson either,
I don't-
but I just don't like that character. I don't like she
She's
is
so
more powerful.
arrogant.
Not only that, but she is more powerful than any movie I've ever seen Superman in.
Yeah.
Like no joke. and that's a problem for me.
Wait,
She-
more
she-
powerful than Ray, though?
They might be on the same level. I don't know, man.
I would say she is
What
far
does the
more powerful
feminist
than
do in that
Ray.
circumstance?
However, they have the exact same likelihood of failure.
Yeah, it's
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So, but yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
it's just not.
Show the picture, the Avenger one.
That was. Oh yeah, wait.
Yeah,
you sent me an Avengers one?
yeah, I did send you an Avenger one.
But I just
have to
don't
look for
like
it.
I just don't like Captain Marvel.
It has
He
Mac
goes,
from
"Show
Always
the
Sunny.
pic."
But anyway, so that scene, it was just, once again, it was just pandering for me for that scene. I wasn't impressed by the scene. I was just kind of like, all right, here we go. We're gonna do this, and then we rode that ride for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then the ride was over.
Why do you?
It
Why do you
wasn't
have
good.
to? Why do you have to eat your fingers in my movie? Like, why do you gotta do that?
It doesn't matter.
No, but no, I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not
It
saying.
matters.
I'm not saying
It
it
matters.
ruined it.
Doesn't. That scene is inconsequential. It's a scene for it's a scene for a different audience, and it's fine to have. It does not ruin the movie.
I'm not saying it ruined the movie. I just don't know why it's there in the first place.
Nobody.
Yeah, well, it's there.
You know
to
those
pander.
memes that say like nobody, like literally nobody was begging for that scene to be shown, and Marvel put it in.
That's
You know,
fair.
in fact, every woman
Some
that
people with
I've
blue
spoken
hair
to,
might have. But
Yeah, well,
every woman that I've spoken to about that scene, it was like, yeah, no, that was stupid. I hated it.
well, yeah, exactly. It was. But once again, though,
Well,
it's just pandering.
obviously, like some people wanted it.
Like Jake said, I don't think it ruined the movie.
Who?
But-
Social justice
It doesn't even.
warriors?
But
Like,
yeah,
It
was-
doesn't
it
even
was-
ruin the even part of the movie. Like right before it and right after it, you
that,
can just
that moment. That
it's
moment.
just there.
Yeah, exactly. That moment. Like I said,
It's followed
it was,
by
it was about 3 or
Ruined
4
the
minutes. We got on the
final
ride. We rode the ride. We got off. It happened. Then we got back to the cool stuff.
The final
So-
sequence was really hurt when Thanos headbutted Captain Marvel, and she just looked at him
Yeah.
with that arrogant look and didn't even flinch.
with a smile on her
but
face.
she got freaking punched
Oh,
right in
God.
the face. It was,
I audibly cheered.
it's pretty bad when you're like
When I'm
this
cheering for the
character
bad
is
guy,
so
yeah.
She's just
this
so
good
bad.
guy character who
But-
you want to cheer for is just so smug.
Yeah.
And like her character has never been like
in danger of anything, right?
not only that, like it's not even like for the audience to like cheer for, right? Because
Yeah,
she's just
like-
always been badass.
You just know she's gonna come out on top.
But then when she gets punched in the face by the power gem,
Oh, dude, it was great.
yes.
That freaking power
Call
mineral
it
showed
again
her.
one more time.
and this is
I've got the
this has nothing to do with women, obviously, because every other
Yeah,
woman
listen,
part I love. Like
listen,
when
Scarlet
when
Witch
Pepper,
was awesome.
when Scarlet came in, that
Scarlet
was a
Witch-
very good scene.
That was
Scarlet
awesome.
Witch kicked the crap
When
out
Pepper
of Thanos.
came
That
in,
was so
she beat
cool.
him.
when Pepper Potts came in right next to Tony, that was an awesome scene.
Yeah,
when
it was
I agree.
Valkyrie came in on her Pegasus,
Yeah.
that was an awesome
Yeah, no,
scene.
that was very
Yeah.
cool.
like
So,
there's
like-
so many better
No,
scenes.
no,
I don't.
I just think their Captain Marvel is written poorly.
Little tangent here, real quick. Are Pegasus a part of Norse mythology?
Yeah.
Are they? Because I know they're in like Greek
it's
mythology.
Greek. It's Greek. I know that.
Yeah, I didn't think they're a part of Norse. Challenge. I don't think they are.
I don't know.
I don't think they are. I think they messed that up. But
What, it's
it might be in the comic book too. I don't know. But I don't think they are.
this is
They're putting Thor in the movie.
Norse mythology when you're talking about
They
Thor
literally
in the
have
comics.
Thor and Asgard and Odin. Like
it's still loose compared to the actual Norse mythos.
Sure.
Yeah. Way more rape in the real thing.
You want to talk
Prove
about
it.
Zeus for a minute? We'll talk about Zeus for a minute.
But anyway,
so-
anyway.
so-
Oh, I'm at
so-
Norse mythology.
So for me, the movie, I'll also split it into two pieces because I saw the movie twice. Like because the first time I saw it, I was very unhappy with it. I was very discouraged, and I was just like this. I feel cheated from what
I know the
from
feeling.
what I got.
That was my Star
Like,
Wars feeling.
So so the first time I
Which
saw it,
time?
I would have given the
First
first
time.
half of the movie like I don't know, like a 6, and the second half like a 7. Like I was
I like
so, I
how
was
Ant-Man
so
had to come
unhappy
in
with it.
and figure stuff out.
And like I think because of how unhappy I was with the first half of the movie, like my emotion carried over into the second half when I was
Yeah.
watching it. So like I instinctually picked apart every plot hole and every failed device that I could.
Yeah,
Because
well-
I was unhappy with it.
Yeah. So I'll give. Let's see.
And now the
I'm just
second
gonna
the
give it an
second
overall
time I
rating.
saw it. Now, granted, I did literally fall asleep in the theater during the first half
It's
of the
a
movie.
long movie.
Yeah, it's a long movie, and the first half is kind of slow.
I don't know if I can chop that up to I was just that bored or if I was just really tired because I was just really tired. But I mean, I would probably give it an 8
Okay.
after I've seen it twice and I can overlook the things that bothered me.
I would give it probably a solid 8, simply because there were some glaring potholes that I'll talk about here in a second, and there were some
I felt like there was no challenge.
there were I
Like,
definitely felt like there was some sort of challenge, but there was no.
You're talking about the first half?
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
challenge?
Yeah, like
Oh,
like
yeah.
gathering the stones, there was no challenge.
But that I think that makes sense.
I mean,
I
Okay,
think
so-
I think it makes sense that
plan-
they have a severe upper hand.
I mean, executing that plan
Going-
the way they worked it out, like they had every advantage. And
Yeah,
I get that.
so there's
but
the-
still, there was like
But-
even so, like there wasn't a struggle.
Yeah,
I-
sure.
Well,
I
hang
didn't
on.
feel like-
No, for me, like, I would give it like an 8.5. So if that's like a B plus, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was a B plus movie. Not in the traditional sense. I think it was fantastic, but not perfect. There were some scenes, and I don't know if this is good storytelling, but like when Captain America steps out onto the desolation and he's ready to face everybody alone and just die, die trying to save
that was an emotional part.
The whole I
And
can
then
do this all
everybody
day
shows
kind of
up.
thing. Like
Yeah.
he didn't say
Yeah.
it, but that's going through his mind
Yeah,
as
well-
he faces a whole army.
Well, and the resiliency too. You know what I mean? Like that is what Captain America really
Yeah.
is. That's what all the Avengers are. Like
Every
No, most of the characters were perfect in that movie.
We will argue that.
I know you
lot.
didn't like. I know you didn't
Thor
like
was
Thor or
awful.
whatever. But anyway,
Hulk was awful.
Hulk was
Smash to begin with.
fine.
No,
Hulk was.
I think
No.
Hulk
That played
Hulk wasn't
perfectly.
Hulk, but it was
okay,
it was important for the plot.
Well,
I didn't like Bruce Banner.
No, that played perfectly into what he was supposed to become. That played perfectly. That's what he becomes.
Yeah.
Like he becomes. I can't remember what they call it. I don't think it's just Smart Hulk, but that is who the Hulk ends up being.
Yeah,
I love
but
when
doing
he's-
it off screen feels wrong.
No.
What do you mean?
yeah,
dude?
but you know how
Oh,
boring that would have been.
maybe,
That would have been
but,
really
like-
No,
boring.
no, I understand, but like,
Doing it off screen is fine. 5 years later, he's now.
It would
I
have
get it.
been good to have that.
No,
to see that.
Eli did
that-
not like
Luke
Dr. Hulk.
Skywalker becomes a Jedi
That's what
Master
they call
off screen.
The only
That's- I
the
mean,
only
that's fair,
problem
too.
the only problem was that
But-
in Infinity War Hulk was non-existent, and then when we finally get the Hulk again, he's this new Bruce Banner Hulk.
I was just really looking forward to seeing
Hulk smash.
seeing Banner and Hulk like overcome this loss that they had. Like because
I hate the Hulk, so I
that's what
really
they
enjoyed
did?
what they did with it.
No, it was
He wanted
it was
to- he
it
wanted
was
to watch it
Banner
happen.
it was Banner
Oh,
saying
I see.
It was Banner saying, "Hey, Hulk's
I
a
have
bitch,
over it.
so I'm gonna take his power, and now he's dead. he's my schizophrenic best friend that I made go away."
All right. Well, I want to get to the actual problems I found in the movie.
I think it would have
on
been
my
cool.
fir- on my first- on my
really
first
quick,
go through
while
real
we're on the
quick.
topic,
All right.
I think it would have been really cool had Banner been what just Banner like he was in Infinity War, but when he encountered Sorcerer Supreme and she made him like exit out of his body. If both him and Hulk, like their separate like spirits left the body and like
I
they had
agree.
to
I
hash
agree.
out,
Yeah, that
and,
might have been better.
and then they came back together as Dr. Hulk.
Yeah, sure.
Would have been great.
Sure.
I would have been like, okay, thanks for giving me some character development instead of doing it off screen.
Yeah, sure. Sure,
It
that's
would have been
fine.
cool.
That would have been
That,
kind of
yeah,
pretty cool.
that's fine. That's perfectly
I'll give
fine.
you that.
But I want to
I
get
see
to
the
some of the
point.
actual. So one of the big plot holes. One of the big plot holes I found in the movie is the Infinity Stones.
What's her name? The girl.
The Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah. One of the Infinity Stones. They're supposed to be they're the things that are holding the.
They're
basic-
gems.
They're not gems.
Are
they're holding what? They're the things that hold time and space together.
are you alluding to when Thanos destroyed them? So why
Yes.
isn't their reality tearing apart?
Exactly.
When the other ones are freaking out because they're leaving.
Yes, exactly. So
Well, I'm not sure if she said. I don't know necessarily said if she says it just destroys their universe, but it more
it
makes
creates,
it creates like a void where danger can come in. Is
Yeah.
what I thought she was. And then I
She
guess
didn't give a timeline on that either. Like it could have been 100 years. You know what I mean? Like because you're only 5 years after the
Well, they were
stones are
pretty.
destroyed.
She,
in the
was,
main
she
timeline.
seemed pretty concerned that they were leaving with the time
Well,
stone
Right, but you
and
have to
just
leave it-
and
you have to
and they were
leave
going to
it
get it back
you're
in
not
just a
given a
short time
time
frame.
If you think back to the Doctor Strange movie, it's literally him using the time stone is what stops Dormammu from destroying the Earth.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's part of what she's alluding to, which is what I was thinking.
Well, maybe.
You know,
maybe.
which it was literally the realm of darkness that was like devouring
but
the Earth.
But the Power Stone wasn't. None of those other stones were doing anything.
No, but she specifically spoke about the time stone. And
No,
I'm-
she specifically spoke
Queen
about
chose
every
the most
stone. She said
powerful
it was
She did.
important to get every single stone back to where it was at the specific time where they took it.
Yeah, which I mean,
Well,
you know,
maybe because she
So-
was, but she maybe because she was afraid that
But hold on, why wasn't it important to get all those stones back to where they were when Thanos took them?
they still had a part yet to play. I think.
What do you mean when Thanos
maybe
took 'em?
maybe that
Well,
was
the
it.
Thanos
took 'em
He
in
had to
real
let
time.
off Captain
I
America
understand,
somehow.
but he still took them, and they still served a purpose in the future.
he didn't take him out of reality. He
I understood he didn't take them out of reality and it wouldn't have pushed them in some sort of alternate reality. But the problem is, if they are there for a reason and there to serve some sort of purpose, if he takes them, nothing.
I think she
something
she
should
meant
have happened.
universally being present in their universe was what she meant, not necessarily in her location.
Okay, well then I'll allude back to my previous point to when him destroying him. Then,
Like I said, maybe
which I think he never should have done.
regardless, they didn't. None
I
of this
agree-
was explained,
I
and it's
agree.
kind of a problem. The other issue I had was the 5-year time frame from when Thanos snapped his fingers and everyone disappeared to when everyone came back. And one of the big problems I have with this is the 5-year gap it's going to create with all the characters who did and did not vanish.
Yeah.
So take Spider-Man, for instance, which is the next MCU movie that we're going to get. All of the characters that I've seen in the trailer were in the previous movie. None of them are 5 years older.
You're
so
probably
did they all
just supposed to assume
that
that
they
they all
all
disappeared.
vanished?
I mean,
because Ned
conveniently speaking, yeah.
because
And-
they
and
now
maybe
Peter saw Ned at the end of that movie, and it didn't seem like their
it looked like they were coming back together after a long time.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
which would have been
And you know
Peter
what?
was gone and Ned stayed there.
I'm gonna
Like
hold
but
off judgment on that
I brought
until
up-
I watch
yeah.
Far From Home.
That's
'cause-
fair.
I
That's
also,
fair.
They're
I
gonna
also,
talk about it.
I also
Yeah,
brought
I
up
think
that
you're right. I
Ned
think
was
you're
there
right.
when Spider-Man left the bus and to go help the Avengers, and Ned saw him do that, and then Ned obviously was at least somewhat of a witness of what happened, and he could have disappeared too, then came back and was like understood the gravity of what happened and heard the stories of 5 years of half the population gone, and then seeing Peter again.
Yeah, maybe.
Now you see what
very well
might
maybe,
be cool
but
if like because they talk about is it MJ that they talk about in the trailer because but in any case what if that MJ what if she didn't disappear and so now her 5 years has caught up to now her and Peter are the same age. Now they're actually compatible.
No, that would actually be kind of neat if they did something
because
that way.
I'm sure they're going to talk about it
Well,
in the movie.
they have to.
They have
They
to.
have to because I think here's your cop out when you say, "Oh, they're all the same age. They all vanished."
Oh, you're right.
that's
No, I mean,
it's
I-
kind of silly.
It's gonna just be sheer convenience.
Yeah, but like it's comics, so like
Yeah,
I get
it's gonna
ya.
be sheer convenience that.
No, the
Spider-Man's
MCU
core
is not
circle
the same
of
as comics.
friends.
I understand,
They
but like
vanished.
there are
It has
some
to be
things that
tighter.
there are some things you can just forgive. Like
Right, but
we're on to a
to
new
me,
movie. Like
Something that powerful and as limited as real, live action movies are, it has to be tighter than that.
regardless, it wasn't
You can't just
explained.
draw these people in.
Yeah. No, regardless, none of it was explained, so it remains a plot hole. That's
Yeah.
my issue.
That's
They left these glaring plot holes in this movie, which is why I wouldn't.
Well,
is one of the
time
reasons why I
travel
wouldn't give
does
it a
that.
9.
You can't do time travel cleanly.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not
no, it's very
necessarily.
hard.
It's not necessarily. I understand
No,
that.
the-
I can forgive some of that. Time travel wasn't my main problem.
Time travel is a pretty big problem for me.
It was
not a
their. It
problem
was
for me.
their. It was their lack of explanation for the stones.
yeah, like they explained a lot, and they explained a lot well with this time travel. But like
Yeah, I
there
mean-
are obviously
You
some
don't know
holes.
what was caught either. You know what I mean? Like they very well could have had a scene that had to be removed due to time.
No, I get you. It was a 3-hour-long movie.
You know, I mean,
Apparently, the director's cut's like 4+ hours long.
But
or 6.
but
Hey, you know,
they-
I would like to see it.
I might
I would
have
too.
to.
I
I
would
might
too.
have to
Didn't really mention.
I might have to rewatch the movie. That scene with Hulk and the Sorcerer Supreme. But I could have sworn I remember her saying that the stones are responsible for holding space and time together.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Now here's the thing: Jake
So-
hates this kind of stuff, but there's a lot of material on YouTube that really can help tie this together. You know, Like, even if you just watch like an Easter egg video, there's a ton of information that you glaze over in a first time viewing.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
that movie's so
For the
deep.
parts I didn't sleep through, I noticed a couple new things.
One thing,
But that was just one of my big problems with the movie.
One thing to
Big plot.
go back on the bright side of the movie, like I said before, it had one of the best endings of a saga that I can imagine that this could have.
I'm not upset with the ending.
With-
I'm really not. Like,
don't-
like,
with
like
specific
Cap-
characters,
Yeah,
with
Cap,
Cap
had
and
a-
Iron Man.
Cap's ending.
I didn't like it.
Felt true to
It
his
was a little
character.
It
anticlimactic.
felt so good.
It was a little
Like it was.
It was too nice.
Soldier forever,
Too much-
and
too
like
nice of an
he
ending.
finally got
Right.
the life that he needed to have.
But it,
right, but he was
broke.
about sacrifice.
But and he broke character. I agree with you, Tim, because what did he tell Bucky? I can't remember in what movie it was. What did he tell with Bucky? That it's going to be me and you till the end. It was something along those lines. I don't think that's
Yeah,
verbatim
but
what he
just
said.
decides what my end is now. Like,
Yeah,
it feels like
exactly.
Tony gave up everything he had, and
Yes.
Cap got to go live the life that he wanted.
Exactly, and it doesn't,
no,
and
you-
it doesn't
but
make
to be,
sense.
to be
It
fair,
sucks.
he said he did it because of Tony told him to get a life.
I understand that, but
And-
but that's completely out of character. It doesn't make sense that he would go and live a life
You
while
have to-
Hydra is taking over Shield. Why all these bad things
No,
are
that's
happening?
not happening in their
But
present.
he already knows.
Not
how,
in their present, but in
he-
his present when he's
he
back in
but he already
1950
knows.
something.
You don't know
he already
what he
knows
did
how
in
the
his
future
past.
is going to play out. He already
He
knows.
told you what he did.
He,
No,
he
didn't they
already knows
specifically
how
say
everything's
that
going to happen. Like
that the future doesn't work out the same in every timeline?
Well,
I
obviously
don't know.
he's there, right? Like,
But my point was he wouldn't instead of going
I
back
agree.
in time
It-
to
it
prevent these
didn't
things
feel
from
right.
happening, he starts a family. Which I have
Yeah,
I have nothing against starting a family. It's a wonderful thing, but it's completely out of character for that.
it's
Captain
but you
America's
completely-
about self-sacrifice,
Exactly,
it feels
and-
like he got off the hook.
Yep, exactly. And I
that's-
was really
I think-
disappointed
he's
with
spent
that.
his whole
I
life
don't-
sacrificing already. He was
I
trying to
feel
honor
like
Tony's
He
wishes.
was only like 30 something.
Not-
He wasn't
well, it
even that
doesn't
old.
matter, like,
I mean, if you discount the,
the-
time he
He'd
spent
saved the
guys.
world more times than anyone, man.
I don't care.
The
He's a
biggest-
30-year-old superhero.
one of
He's
the
in his prime.
one of the biggest threats was just finally taken out for good, and I feel like
get ya.
if you're gonna write off Captain America without killing him, that was the best way they could have done it.
I completely
I
agree with that.
agree
And the
that-
guy literally just
I
saved
don't-
half the universe.
I don't disagree with that, but they should have killed him.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't have to kill him.
I think it makes for a better
honestly,
ending.
like my
thought
predictions
that-
going into the movie before I saw it.
I thought he was dosed.
I
thought
thought
he
it
was so
was
dead.
Reversed.
I thought that he was going to be the one to
When
snap
I
his
saw-
fingers instead of Tony.
When I saw,
But the way, but since Tony
Tony's
did
way is
it,
fine.
Well, he built the-
don't
I
have
thought
a
it was
problem.
way. I thought it was way. It was better than I imagined Cap doing it because
well, he built the gauntlet, right? It was.
not only that, he's like I said before, he started everything.
Well, yeah,
Iron
he
Man
kicked
one
off
started
the
everything,
MCU.
and his
It makes
last
sense to
line
end with
and
him.
his
I'm Iron Man.
the freaking
Iron Man.
yeah, where Thanos says I am inevitable, and then he goes and I am Iron Man. Yeah, so
Oh,
good.
dude, no, it's
I like,
giving me
I like
goosebumps.
that. I like
No,
that
that
a
was-
lot.
it was pretty- it was great.
Apparently,
It
it
was
was RDJ's RDJ's choice while he's laying there and everyone's like over him, consoling him, like, oh my god, and he's dying. Mm-hmm. It was RDJ's choice not to say anything because he said like the last line was perfect. So like
Good idea, yeah.
yeah, so he
Yeah.
didn't say anything to Pepper or Spider-Man or anyone.
He muttered a couple words, but nothing.
He didn't mutter anything.
I'm pretty sure he did.
It
Like,
looked like he tried to, but it looked like he was.
yeah,
was
no,
so
he
drained
didn't.
that
He didn't
couldn't
like
speak.
get a sentence out. But so you're right. Would you?
I kind
I
of
did
thought
not
that
see
that
Black Widow
ending
come.
could have been
No,
Cap.
I didn't either.
I
Oh, they killed her. I was like, what?
I thought that was shocking and well played out.
No, I loved.
I
loved
think it
the
was well
fight.
played out.
I loved the fight.
Like
over
the
over
the
suicide fight. Yeah,
that was pretty awesome. I'm glad it was
kinda-
Black Widow over Hawkeye.
Red Skull's probably like, why couldn't I have fought these heroes back in my day?
This would have been way easier.
They're literally fighting.
I had to
kill
fight
themselves.
Captain Steroids.
All right, guys, we've gone over quite a bit, which I knew we would. So.
I could talk about Endgame all
yeah,
night.
Yeah, I could
I'm
too.
sure
Yeah,
we're
we're
going to come back
15
to it
minutes
again
over.
next week. It was, there's a lot to talk about.
We spent too much time talking about Game of Thrones.
Fact. We
We literally spent more than half the
I
podcast
know.
talking about
I
the
know.
fact.
I know.
All right, guys, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the chiming
Everyone
in.
congratulate Tim.
Yeah, congratulate Tim, birth of his son.
Jake.
Thank you.
Jakey Roberts.
I'm pretty
unfortunately, it
sure
wasn't
it was
Steve Rogers
Bradley Jake Hewley, but
Bradley Cooper Roberts.
We're gonna go.
Bradley-
We're gonna go
Bradley
with
Jake
with the name of the baby. I don't know if he wants me to say it on the podcast.
Yeah,
I
go
just
for it.
did.
Name
I said it
Lincoln.
was- I said it was
Lincoln
Bradley.
Dale. Lincoln Dale Roberts.
Lincoln Dale.
My little
Link.
nephew.
Little Link. I'm gonna get him.
Oh yeah, little Link.
listen.
Tim, we were yes, get him a little Navi. Oh, that'd be great. Tim, we decided that we're gonna dress him up as Link from Legend of Zelda every year. He didn't.
I'd be pissed if you didn't.
Even if he like cries because he doesn't want to be it again, like that's what he's gonna be. That's he doesn't get a
Hey,
choice.
he doesn't have a choice.
All
All right, guys.
All right.
See you next week.
See you next week. Hopefully Tim will be back, which I believe he should be. But in any case, thanks for tuning in. Had an excellent episode 37.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.